My name is Aiden. I'm 8 years old.
My name is David. I'm 7 years old.
You're 9 years old. 9, I mean. And I like to eat salmon.
Me too.
Copying me.
The wind blows through your hair as you walk in. People stare up the block and down the street to North Kings Highway. There's a beating in my chest, and it seeming to suggest that before this day is through, it might go my way. So I sit back in my seat, scribble down something that's sweet about a boy or girl, an endless stretch of scenery. 'Cause it's like falling through your knees before a strange or on the street. Did it just the other day? You should.
And I kind of argue with people here. I'll tell them, well, the heck with those, the Canadians getting those fish up there. I said, well, all these fish that go by here that you like to eat, that look so good and they look so wonderful to you, do you know that half of those fish go to Canada and spawn? So if you was to say, well, we're going to take all those fish, then half of those fish are not going to come back ever again. And so it's to our benefit, to everybody's benefit, that these fish are taken care of all the way to the spawning grounds and in numbers that can afford the future of the runs. Because our time here is dwindling fast, and I look forward to the young people that are coming behind of us being able to continue doing the same things that everybody on this river has done in the past.
The way we fish now is killing off our salmon. I was glad there's a treaty that allowed so many fish go into Canada. Sometimes we have to say we sacrificed our fishing periods so that numbers could be met.
You should have seen me, and I wanna remember this night. Oh, how most never came out right. Oh, it's just my patience that keeps me alive.
A long time ago, I never even heard about Canada or other people getting fish. And now I realize that we have to share our fish with people. Last year I was fortunate to go on this trip to Canada, and I saw the sacrifices that they made up there, and it got me thinking a little bit more about letting fish go by. So I don't mind letting them go by because I can't stop them anyway.
I think this program is really helping people understand that it's people who also need the salmon up in Yukon territory, and that's what I think is the most meaningful, is when people see that there's other people who are just like themselves that need the same resource to survive in the same way that they do, then they're able to do it.
Always just my patience that keeps me alive. Just like all those bright lights, just like all those bright lights in the sky. There's something to be said about the colors in your head, how they mixed up from the perfect shade of sadness, not because of things I've done.
The shared resource is not only for today. We should keep it there for tomorrow. And I think we're making efforts in that area, and I think that has to continue. So we can't forget that part of it, on both sides of the border. And then same time, you want to continue fishing so they can be part of that too, the young people. It's mostly about them. Leave something for the future down the road. We can afford to do that today. That's what we can afford to do. And I think mainly that's on both sides of the border, and also on the high seas fishing too. That effort can be made there.
I've definitely seen a change in the Alaskan mentality over the years, and this trip sort of highlighted that. I mean, people are slowly changing, and I see people that were maybe staunchly one way that are now changing their tune and seeing that there's less fish coming back every year, and they're recognizing that there's a problem now, and people are definitely changing their practices. So this is a good trip for us all to be on, to be talking to different people on the river and seeing that there's more of that attitude out there than there has been in recent years.
Not because of things I've done, or many of the songs I've sung. It's just the story of our life. We wish we had this, yeah.
You know, growing up, I didn't think the river was that long and incorporated so many First Nations. And for us to share it for centuries, and then this last century, we're in a crisis where we might be losing it all. So we're here to see how we can work together to preserve the salmon for the children of tomorrow.
For the last few years, we've been targeting chum salmon for commercial fisheries, and it's not like it used to be when we used to have a king salmon commercial fishery. And right now it's incidental catch when we go out with 6-inch or less fishing gear, and a lot of times when we don't need the kings, we try to make sure they're live and put them back in the river, or we just pass them on to other people in the village that are still putting up fish.
Just like all those ready lights, just like all those ready.
Perception on the Canadian side is that the Alaskans are just fishing like crazy here, and that's not what I'm seeing so far at all. There's a common theme of conservation. So I think the message is getting out to people that we need to conserve our Yukon River Chinook salmon anyways.
It's really tough to decide on a personal basis to stop fishing because of how much salmon means to the people fishing all along the Yukon River, whether it be in Alaska or the Yukon. It's a part of our culture, it's a part of our identity, our lifestyle, and our tradition.
I think one of the best ways that we can really make a difference is to be talking to each other and to talking to fishers along the river in Alaska and Canada. I think we have a lot more in common than we realize, and I think having these kind of exchanges and just generally trying to get as much conversation and understand each other's perspectives on both sides of the border, because these fish don't know Canada from the U.S. and vice versa. So I think this communication is the way to go, and I think that's the way we're ultimately going to try to figure out how we can all meet our needs on both sides of the border.